Are you gonna stay in your lane now with Bronny though?
You said I wore my Lakers hat because I knew y'all was about to ask.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to stay in my lane because they were losing by 30. He got in the game. He made 17 points. He just shot some threes, and he gets cooked defensively. I wore my hat to reinforce my opinion. Bronny should not
he
be
hit 39 in the G League the same week, Chan.
All right, I'm not going to go too deep in this because this is part of the reason why I'm even doing this episode about about Bronny. So, first thing, if you are going to state things, you have to be factually correct, because later on when I watch the entire episode, he's going to say, I'm just stating the facts. The first fact that he got wrong was Bronny did not come into the game when they were down 30. Bronny entered the game in the first quarter for Markieff Morris. The score was 12-10. The Lakers were sitting a bunch of players. It was the second night of a back-to-back. So when you talk about these situations, you must be factually correct if you're going to call them facts. I didn't get to the point where he said he was just speaking facts in that clip, but I just wanted to kind of warm y'all up to, what people are saying and how they're getting it wrong. So first off, they're getting it wrong because they're not even looking at the facts. That's the beautiful thing about sports. Sports, they track everything, and you can look at these things and you can easily determine if when he got in the game, if they were down by 30 or not. That's something very easy to find. So just from that point, when I saw this initially as a clip, I was like, man, oh man, this kind of reminds me of when Channing, when they were still on I Am Athlete, Channing was telling Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, that he didn't believe that HBCU would be able to accommodate the 4 and 5 star players, and he didn't think he would be able to recruit them. He didn't think he would be able to get them. And Coach Prime kind of asked him, okay, well, how do you turn it around? So, that just made me think of that. So I had to do some digging. And, if you know, back in the day, we used to record songs off the radio and record stuff when it played on TV. And then basically I had to find like a recorded bootleg version of the I Am Athlete episode with Coach Prime to show how Channing just was very off with that. And the problem is everybody isn't a visionary. So a visionary, they could see things kind of happening before they happen. And other people have to see things as is right there in front of them. They can't really see forward. So for instance, when I'm driving in the car and I know I have a turn coming up, I'm not the person that waits to the last minute and then tries to cut somebody off so I can get into the proper lane to make the turn. I get into the lane where I need to make the turn early. So I'm eliminating steps, or I'm eliminating missteps that could happen by me waiting to the last minute. That's the difference between a person who is doing things as they come and a person who is looking forward. They're a couple steps ahead. And that's where I think Channing is missing it. He missed it with Coach Prime, and he's missing it here. All right, so I just wanted to show y'all those quick clips to give you just a little bit of a takeaway from there. I'm going to tell you the first quarter, just wanted to show those clips. We're also going to go back in the Wayback Machine, and we're going to rewind it back to when Channing was on I Am Athlete and he was disagreeing with Coach Prime about the quality of athletes that he could get at a HBCU, and also the accommodations they would have at a HBCU versus a Power 5. We know how that turned out, but I just want to show y'all another instance where Coach Prime is a visionary and Channing is a he's a show me person. So you got to show me, then I believe you, which is okay. The issue is the visionary will have a lot of chances where they're going to be ahead of the curve on situations. The show me person is going to catch up when it smacks them in the face and is blatantly obvious. They won't take any of the signs as they're coming in front of them. So that's going to be the first quarter. Second quarter, we're going to look back to how the Pivot Podcast actually viewed Bronny a couple months ago. So that first clip of Ryan Clark speaking when he had on a black shirt, that's how they were talking about him prior. And then, they kind of go through how they view him, how they feel about him. Third quarter is going to be straight facts. So in the third quarter, we're just going to go over what Bronny has done, what he hasn't done, and how he was viewed before he came into the NBA. And then how he's viewed in the NBA. And we're going to look at the stats that he's put up. And then in the fourth quarter, once we watch the longer form version of Channing on the Pivot talking about Bronny, you'll notice that he sounds a lot like Stephen A. Smith in how he's going to go into breaking down things. And this is one of those situations where for me, I have to limit how much content I actually take in on a subject, because if I consume too much content, I will be in a position where I don't even know if I'm going to be speaking my thoughts or I'm going to be regurgitating something I've heard without knowing that line in between of how I really feel about something. And I think that's what happened. That is what is happening with Channing. And because it just sounds too similar, it sounds way too similar. So when you have multiple people saying the exact same thing, then you can say, okay, one person created this, and then people started to follow it and started to, spread the same narrative. So that's what I'm seeing from him.